It's really simple. I just want them to simply know they belong. And no matter what kind of opportunities, challenges, baggage, or relief that they have and or bring with them, they know that they're welcome here and that they can have those types of needs addressed. And it can be done in a professional, quality manner, in a space where they are community members. We don't have a initiation or a ritual to actually come here other than signing up and showing up. So the idea of belongingness is really important to us, and we want our students to know that this is the place for them, no matter how old they are and or what they bring to the table. We had started a conversation around H cubed. So that was what should be called food insecurity, but we were calling it hunger. There was health focus or health disparities, and then homelessness. We got involved, and I got involved because we saw a need and an opportunity to support our students in our community. It's nothing complicated about it. It was necessary. There will never be enough in terms of resources and support because everybody is always going through something at different phases of their life, and that's why we're involved, because we feel that we have something to offer that can be positive in people's lives. Our focus was to make sure that where there is a need, there is an opportunity for there to be engagement. What's beautiful about this is the adoption and or engagement that our current community, both on campus and local parentis, as well as throughout the 11 county service area where we serve and have support, supports what we support. And that's the ideology behind community colleges being involved in this work. Collegiate Recovery Academy isn't just for those who have gone through the atypical or norms of recovery. I think in some instances we all may be recovering from something, and it is aided in our ability to expand our arms, open up our chests to engage with various kinds of communities outside of a college setting, outside of a traditional support center and support network, to interweave other components of being a part of those communities. We like to talk about things in terms of P's here, so personalities, right? This is not necessarily something that people want to talk about ad nauseum. It's personal, it's traumatizing for people, and sometimes, doing the right thing opens up old wounds. And so we experienced some of that here organizationally as we were bringing in a third party to support some things that we already have internally with our own healthcare, mental health counselors, as well as third party resources. So we work through personality. The idea of programmatic, it's great to create opportunities for folks, but what happens when the leader or the champion or the advocate leaves or goes some other place? Typically it passes and it dies. And we didn't want that to happen. So our goal has been to create a programmatic approach to this where it is connected and peppered throughout the organization, where there are members of our college and our community that are tied to this idea of collegiate recovery and what it means. The next part is promise. Tennessee Promise, not a stretch there, but there's more to taking in students to have just butts in seats, but it's real formulaic, and the real design around human-centered design comes when we start talking through them and with them, and we hear ourselves in their speech, which means they're more positive, they're more affirmative, and they're thinking about their today and their futures after, I don't want to say escaping their pasts, but having survived their past. So those are some of the ways in which we've worked through it. Other challenges, I would say, is it doesn't happen fast enough, and so patience. Understanding that we needed to have patience and grace and exhibit grace, not only with those who needed our support, but with ourselves as we were learning people first language, another P. And I think it's been good for us. I often like to remind folks that in a collegiate setting, collegiate recovery is not punitive, it's educational. So when we do have young people make choices that aren't the way that we expect them to be in this environment, I would hope that unless someone's harmed, it ought not be punitive. It should be educational. And here's an environment where we had our public safety officers come and learn traditional approaches, language associated with collegiate recovery or the recovery community, because their background is completely different from everybody else's training. So we wanted the very people that sometimes are the front-facing connectors to anyone who comes on our campus to also be well-versed in what this was about and our why of being engaged. So our goal is to create micro-credentials, stackable credentials, self-sovereignty opportunities for people, because as an issuer of credentials, Motlow sits in a unique position to point to the community, work with the community, and say that we can assert that you have a certain level of skill to work with this community. So downrange, that is our goal, to create a systematic approach where we are a place of education for the community and with the community to support the community. Long range, I would say that creating a degree pathway that is focused on this area of need and high interest, not just in the state of Tennessee, but across the country. And then lastly, I'd like to see us hire the very people who have transitioned through programs, whether they have gone through a workforce-focused program with us in this area, or we can hire folks who are actually coming out of the recovery initiatives and spaces as employees at our institutions. It's not enough to talk about it, and commitment without any currency is counterfeit. And we want to be tried and true with what we are putting our backs behind.